Hello, we are live. We are back. We are flirting. We are flirting.
I'm not flirting. I was there.
We are flirting. We are flirting. Because most men think flirting is about what you say and what you do. Oh, ooh. No, it's not. It's not what you say or what you do. That's not flirting. So what flirting really is, it's about your nervous system and her nervous system feeling safe and attracted at the same time. And if you get this wrong, no matter what pickup lines, no matter what you say or do, would never work. So in this video, I'm going to solve the mystery of how to flirt, how to be the best rizzler, how to be the best seducer, how to be the best charming, most charismatic, most handsome teddy bear like me. So let's start with this flirting masterclass. It's Flirting 101 by Prayan himself. After this masterclass, this is probably the last thing you will ever see on the internet about flirting. You don't have to watch any other video on the internet. This is done and dusted. If you apply this, your life's gonna change. And it's Valentine's week, so you better apply this and get to work. So let's start. What really is flirting? So, what is flirting, right? Now, it's low risk signaling during the courtship period. What happens is when you meet a stranger, a girl. So, what happens is when you meet a random girl, and she's beautiful. So, the best way of an interaction to go ahead towards sex is not initiating sex or seducing her right away. It starts with flirting. So flirting is the phase that is low risk and it kind of signals intent towards sex, and it's kind of a light, playful tease so that you both can figure out where this unfolds. That is flirting. And what happens is the way men flirt is different than the way women flirt. The reason why men flirt is men flirt for simple reason. Men flirt to initiate and signal intent. Now you look at a beautiful girl and you are attracted, and men are horny, like they are attracted in 0.2 seconds to anywhere between 3 seconds. Boom. Most men also get a boner. So you cannot just walk up to her. She would not feel safe. She might get aroused, but she won't feel safe. We'll come to that part, like about arousal, trust, safety. So what you do as a man, you go and you flirt, and that's the best way to initiate an interaction that you want to lead and signal your intent. And why do girls flirt then? Why do girls flirt? The reason girls flirt is because they want to filter out if she wants to let the man in her life, like towards intimacy. So girls flirt for a different reason and men flirt for a different reason. Women flirt to filter out and men flirt to initiate. Also, let's start with how men should flirt. Like what's the ideal way a man should flirt? Flirting is not something you do or say to her. It's something that you maintain within yourself. It's a vibe. It's not performative. It's expressive, right? So how do you express? In what way? What's the best way to express? And what are the effects? What are the results you get after flirting that flirting has worked? It's gone towards the positive direction. So number one thing, flirting would regulate uncertainty, arousal and trust. These are three ingredients, the top three ingredients of flirting it's like a measure three ingredients that would make flirting possible with the girl you are attracted to. So, how does these three work? So, what is uncertainty? Uncertainty is if you see in a movie where you don't know what's going to happen next, so your mind is engaged and it feels like, oh wow, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next scene, and you're just stuck over there, and probably you would love the movie much more than you see a movie and you know what's going to happen and it's so boring. So, uncertainty is there to avoid the boring stuff, the plain conversation, because what's known is boring. And when you introduce uncertainty, it's kind of a thrill. It's like a roller coaster ride. And girls love this a lot. And the second thing is arousal. What's arousal? No? You can say something that is uncertain, no? You can say things that are unpredictable. But you don't say it with an emotion. You just say it like a robot. Let's say there was a chicken who flew on the volcano and it died. You can say the same thing with high emotions. That would create arousal. You can say the chicken flew with the hippopotamus and it flew so high that it came near the volcano. And as the volcano erupted, there was hot lava coming out. And the chicken got roasted. No, the same chicken I had in my dinner last night. It was tasty. This is how you create arousal. Trust. Now, what is trust? Trust is very important so that while you're having the uncertainty and arousal, she also needs to feel safe that you're human. Like how I said the line about chicken, the story of the chicken. It should not come off as psychopath, no? You're just like out of control. You're just too out of control. You cannot hold yourself. You cannot hold your emotions. So what trust does is she knows that you're being playful, you're expressing emotions, but not leaking emotions. You're not leaking your energy. You're not leaking it. You're expressing it. So the base layer of everything is you containing those emotions, you being grounded and calm while creating arousal and uncertainty in the conversation. So when these three elements come along, that's ideal flirting. No? What would happen? Let's see. What would happen if there is no uncertainty? You need all these elements, right? You need all these elements to be the best flirts. No, 1, 2, 3. But let's see what would happen if you don't have any one of these. So let's think that you don't have uncertainty in the conversation, but you can spike arousal and you also come off as a safe person. So what would that do is that would create comfort for sure. There would be less polarity. There would be obviously emotional spikes and all. So probably she would think of you as like a boyfriend kind of vibe. Maybe she'll go out longer with you and see where the vibe goes. So you'd probably come off as a bit logical, I would say, man, with things that you're saying is very reasonable. It's not like unpredictable and all. So like here I've put types of men. So probably it can come off as a bit logical. Then there's a second category. Let's say you've got uncertainty, you've got arousal in the conversation, but you are not trustworthy. You don't come off as a safe man. So what would that do? That would obviously spike arousal too much and obviously uncertainty. That would create anxiety instead of attraction. What you need is attraction. And what will that do is like you see a lot of guys, when they initially learn to go cold approach girls, they think, oh, I need to spike emotions. So they just go and they go with energy and whatever the lines they have learned. But inside, they're shivering, they're nervous, and that shows off. So instead of the same line that should have created attraction, it creates anxiety. And the girl senses oh, something is off, and she just walks away, and you're thinking, oh, my coach taught me, or I've seen these videos of rizzing and flirting, cold approaching girls, and the guy did it and it worked for him, but it's not working for me. The same line. It should have created attraction. It's not. So this is the exact reason, no? There was no element of safety. So that's why you would come off as a man who's nervous and she would like just walk away. No. It's like she would feel danger instead of attraction. Then the third type is where you have uncertainty, but you don't have emotional spikes, you don't have arousal, but you are safe. So that would put you in a friend zone kind of vibe because you are not able to spike emotions. Or you probably talk nicely because you know the element. You can hold attention. Uncertainty mostly what it does is just holds attention for a longer time. But if you just keep holding attention without the emotional spike, friend zone, your friend zone, because you can hold attention, you can talk to her for hours. There's no emotional arousal, no spikes, right? So without arousal, friend zone, you're just a nice guy she can talk to for hours, you can hold her attention, that's it. So you will come off as a nice guy. And why most guys they are afraid to spike arousal is that they don't want to offend the girl. They feel like, oh, you'll offend the girl if you be more polarizing, if you say something that would hurt her or that would devalidate her, or like something that's too emotionally triggering or that would spike her emotion, because it would start, then she would start thinking of you as a potential mater, and she would also start giving you shit test. She would test you. So most nice guys, they try to avoid shit tests. That's why they are being nice. That's the only reason you're being nice if you're watching this, if you're a nice guy. The ideal phase, this is where you want to be, where you can hold attention by being uncertain. You can spike emotions so she feels aroused, and you can have her trust by coming off as a safe masculine man. That's the ideal way that flirting should work out. If you ask me how do I define flirting, is I would say like flirting would be the art of keeping uncertainty high enough so it creates like desire, and arousal just high enough to create tension, and trust just enough so that she won't fear, like she won't feel danger, she would feel safe around you so she can express and open up more. This is where things start happening. This is where you hit the sweet spot of attraction and sexual tension. So here is where she starts to consent for further escalations in the interaction. So how do we get here, right? This phase. How do we get in this phase? Well, simple. Now I've already mentioned, flirting is not something you do, something you maintain in yourself. So what do you actually maintain in yourself? So there are three things, right? First of all, what you shouldn't be doing. Let's go through this. What you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't be impressing, trying to go and flirt with an agenda of impressing her. No, that doesn't work out at all. And second is you using flirting so that you can persuade her towards sex. That would also not work out, it's going to backfire. That's not the reason for flirting at all. And the third one is going and seeking validation just because she's hot, you saw her and you walked up to her, approached her. And now you're flirting so that you can get validated from her. Girl, she would flirt back, oh, now you're validated. No, that's not the reason for flirting. So, what flirting is not used for impressing, it's not used for persuasion, it's not used for validation seeking. So, what flirting is, it's just a permission to continue towards sex. It's just a permission to continue. It's not a permission for sex. It's just a permission to continue the interaction towards sex, right? That's it. That's what flirting is all about. Flirting is just a phase, the initial phase of the interaction. Now, what do you maintain in yourself so the vibe happens such that things go in a positive direction? Is number one is to come off as a social charmer or rizzler who flirts like a pro. Is you need to be in a state that is playful, fun. This is like 80% of flirting, right? This is right here. It's your internal state. How you come off as internally. You don't have to be serious. You have to come off as playful. That's it. And number two is being outcome independent. Even if you come off as like playful, fun, but you have an outcome in mind. Girls sense it. Girls are more emotionally sensitive. She can sense, oh, you have an outcome in mind. Whereas a guy who is like just there for the moment, he doesn't have an agenda or an outcome to get, because flirting is a phase where she's also like testing you, right? She's also seeing where this unfolds. So for her to see where things would unfold, you need to not have an agenda or an outcome in mind. You need to be there and enjoy that moment and let it unfold by itself. Right? And number three is you being polarizing. Right? You cannot walk up to her and not be man to woman. You need to be a man talking to a woman. So without polarity, what would this look like? Is, see, you can have fun, you can be playful, you can also be outcome independent. So what? The same thing you can do with your friends and have banter and fun day. But if you're not man to woman, you're just probably like having fun and it's an interaction without a direction. What masculinity is direction. See, most guys confuse this, right? What when I say direction, it doesn't mean you need to be outcome dependent. No, outcome dependence is different than having a direction. You can have a direction, but you don't have to stick. You can be detached to that direction of where the interaction would do, right? So that's how you can have the right masculine polarity when you interact in this phase of flirting. So if you do this right, now what will happen is you're going to create a safe, stimulating emotional field where attraction can emerge naturally. You'll feel the vibe between you and her, and she's feeling attracted, and like the emotions are like going on a high. That's the sweet spot that would be created and the ideal phase of the interaction that you want. Now, coming to the part where why females flirt. So this is very important. No? Right now we have just covered up why men flirt, how to flirt, the best way to flirt. But I wanted to put this here, especially because men get confused when even girls flirt, but after she flirts and she's attracted, the interaction doesn't go ahead, and they're like, "Oh, she was flirting with me. She was into me. What just happened? No, she just like vanished." So I that's the reason I wanted to put about female flirting tactics that men get trapped into, unfortunately, because they don't know what female flirting is. So as I mentioned, female flirting is not initiation for sex. Men flirt to initiate and signal their intent, but girls, they flirt to test a masculine frame. It's a playful way of seeing, no? It's kind of a test as well. It's kind of letting the interaction escalate as well, both at the same time. So primarily, like how girls flirt is like holding eye contact for a bit longer. She would probably tilt her head, her shoulders would be relaxed. She would tighten up. If you see a girl, if she's tightening up, less chance, like no chance she's flirting, right? She can just smile and laugh, giggle, but that's just her facade. She's trying to just be polite on the outside. Then attention manipulation, no? What you'll see is she would probably like look at you, look away, then again look at you. That's one of the way like you'll get to know she's her attention is on to you. Along with that, what she'll do is one more way you know that her attention is on to you is she'll stand closer, she'll find excuses to come closer to you, maybe accidentally she'll like walk past you, rub the shoulders. These are few of the signs that would take place. And most important thing is should be much more attuned and present when you talk or when you're around, right? So that is her attention fixated onto you. The third one is playful resistance and testing, the main one that I talked. So in this phase, what happens? She is hot and cold, like she's warm and then she's cold. Like she's like flirting in a moment, and then she kind of acts pissed off that you said something that she didn't like, and that's kind of a test. And most men, they go in their head and they think, oh, did I say that? I shouldn't have said that, or was it like? So that's the test you failed. If you ever think like, if you're carefree and you're nonchalant, probably then should be like, oh, this man is good to go with. He's like nonchalant. So another thing is challenging your frame. No, girls do this. Like they'll tease you. They'll mildly reject you. They'll say you're annoying. Stop it. They'll probably say, oh, your hair looks like you just woke up. Like something they'll just tease you, or like they'll reject you, they'll say no for no reason, like just no. That's her way of flirting, and she does it to test your frame. So why does she do these things? Is she wants to check if you're emotionally stable, if your frame is poked by her, if your frame is broken by her test. If it's, then you lost the frame. The interaction goes nowhere. Probably you would be rejected or friendzone. So she'll test your emotional stability, your non-neediness. A lot of girls, they'll like also sexually tease you. They do that to see how much needy you might come off as. They would like playfully say some things that would make you a bit more like desperate in that moment, or like you cannot hold the frame. So then she will see like, oh, he's being too needy, I don't know. And then she'll like back off and like bye bye, like polite rejection. Yeah, gone through that phase, you'll understand. And third, the most important thing is masculine grounding. How well can you handle her shit, her emotional, her chaotic side, her wild side. That's one of the reasons girls flirt. Now, the last layer is the verbal layer. These are like the layers more like sub-communication based. So this one is pretty obvious. Verbally, she would ask you about your personal life, what do you do. She would be very early on in the interaction. She would be asking this. She would be curious about you, and with curiosity, she'll ask more questions about you. That's like the verbal way. Also, verbally, she would compliment you in a way that would come off as an observation, like as if like you're working out and maybe in the gym you lift like 100 kilos bench press. She would be like, that was heavy. As a man, it would come off as an observation, but that's actually a compliment if you notice the vibe in the way she said. So these are the reasons. Now, where men get stuck is when they think that flirting is a good sign, and she's flirting and she's talking too much, she's being playful too much. But after this, when the attraction is built in her, when the attraction is generated, flirting actually drops down with attraction. When attraction goes up, flirting drops down. What will happen after the attraction is generated in her is that if she is genuinely attracted, she would actually let go control. With flirting, she's trying to maintain control. She's frame battling, she's teasing, testing, she's all over chaotic like fake. But once she feels attraction, she'll actually let go control. She'll become much more silent, and she will let you lead further. So most men, they get confused when they approach girls, and she's flirting, you're flirting back, and it from your side it worked out pretty well. The flirting phase is done, and like things are moving positively, and then you notice that she kind of goes silent. She softens little bit, but you're like, oh, why is she still flirting? No, because that's the phase you have to lead further. So the reason this happens is she wants you to lead ahead, no? And the way, one more thing, the way you receive female flirting is not by giving it back. The best way to receive female flirting is staying grounded and just receiving it as it is, and then leading the interaction. So what you see is just after the flirting phase, when the attraction is built, there will be less friction from her side. She'll be softer. She will let her guard down, which is like she would not like frame battle with you. She'll be softer, and that's where you lead. And that's the phase where you move things ahead. So, everything about flirting, from how men should flirt to how girls flirt, how you handle it, and how you move things ahead. This is all you need. There's no pickup line, there's no such things as, obviously, lines and everything else would follow, the verbal game would follow in place. But I wanted to cover this in much more detail. So I hope you got a lot of value from this video. And if you like this video, give me more topics that you want me to cover. I'll try to cover as many topics as you comment in the comment section. So this was the Flirting Masterclass by Prayan. I hope it adds value to your game. Go out, use it. Until then, see you in the next video. Okay, this is moving like a fucking cuckold.